Hi, I'm Michael Smith for Nevada Trails. Tonight I have a very special show. I have Doc Durden, one of my all-time favorites. He's the reenactor, and you did such a wonderful job. And I just wanted to thank you at the very beginning. Not too long ago, I brought my mom and stepdad to Virginia City, and all the reenactors just spoiled us. And we saw your show, and made sure you said hi. And I think you posed with my mom. We got some great pictures.
Oh yeah.
And they ended up in the newspaper down in the Villages down in Florida.
Excellent.
Yeah. So you did some PR. So thank you for being on Nevada Trails.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
Well, what's going on in Virginia City? You're in a hiatus right now, I suppose.
Hiatus, yes, indeed. Due to the weather, of course, being at 6,200 foot, we are a little chilly this time of the season, and also there's snow on the ground. And so climbing those hills to try to get to Virginia City is not a good thing sometimes. And so everybody goes on hiatus, and if you're going to go on vacation, people go on vacation during the winter. Memorial Day would be opening day.
It's not too far from now.
Not too far from now, and this brings everybody. Well, there's a parade, Memorial Day parade, and this sets the tone for the year, Memorial Day. So we're kind of anxious to get going again.
But we mentioned there might be some activity for St. Patty's Day this year.
Oh, always. That
how many bars are there?
There's parades, and St. Patty's Day kind of like marks the beginning of the parades that Virginia City has almost monthly. They do a very good job with the parades and keep that going. And with that, it brings up a lot of tourism, and that's what the idea is.
Well, how's your friend Maureen doing?
Oh, she's wonderful. Maureen Hepner, she's... I don't think she really knows how good she is. She's just a phenomenal seamstress. She does the historical Victorian dresses for the ladies, and they're just absolutely incredible. I didn't realize the work that goes into it, but for you seamstresses out there and everything, the menfolk, they just like what they see. Fortunately for me, I'm behind the scenes and I can see the work that goes into a Victorian dress, and it's absolutely incredidible.
It's a lot of work, and at break we have some of her outfits, and they'll just knock your socks off. They're that beautiful. And I was going to ask you, as playing Wild Bill Hickok, I looked at your website, and you kind of mentioned that you had a dream to be a cowboy after retirement. Does Wild Bill Hickok kind of fulfill that dream as well?
Well, it does. It does. When I was 8 years old, I visited Knott's Berry Farm in LA. Right?
My wife talks about that all the time.
And what a kick! Now this is going back to the 50s when I was right around 8 years old, and we first went to Disneyland, and of course everybody loves Disney. I love Disneyland. It's hard not to like Disneyland. Well, the next day or a couple of days later, we went to Knott's Berry Farm. I didn't expect it, but my parents treated us to Knott's Berry Farm, and let me tell you, I enjoyed Knott's Berry Farm more so than I did Disneyland, and I got hooked up with the Cowboys. I loved everything about it. I loved the overland stage they had, the hold-up that they had, the Cowboy, the interaction with the Cowboys, and the train that they had that circled the facility. It was just an incredible event for me personally. From then on, I couldn't keep my eyes off the TV. Every cowboy show that was ever made, I've seen, and not only once, twice. It was just every time it came on, I'd be watching it, and I got to the point where I knew all the characters. But now I'm looking behind the scenes. I'm looking at the wagons. I'm looking at the buildings. I'm looking at everything. So it's just.
Were you like a Roy Rogers or a Lone Ranger, or who was your target market then? I liked them all. Those were mine.
Lone Ranger I loved them all, like you're saying, loved them all. But a Lone Ranger kind of fascinated me. My mother, she also was a seamstress tailor, same thing as Maureen.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so I grew up in that element where my mother was very creative. Also, she'd go to I-Magnum, see a mannequin, see a dress on there. She'd go home that night and make it.
Oh,
crying out
that's
loud!
Brilliant.
How can you do that?
Brilliant.
It is. So she made me my first cowboy outfit with the guns and everything, and and let me tell you, I was That was it. That was it. And of course, that was a fantasy of mine my whole life. And I figured that once I retired, this is what I wanted to be. I wanted to do a cowboy thing, and I did. I bought a ranch in Amador County, and as soon as I built that ranch, I built a movie set.
Oh,
About 13 buildings. We'll start out with the hotel, saloon, jail, bank, livery, church, museum, Victorian, schoolhouse, even the pool. The pool house was an outbuilding that matched the town. So if you need to have an outbuilding, then you would go in the pool facility and you'd be able to shoot that. So we did movie shorts, and we did commercials, and we did a few things right there. And you can catch that on YouTube, actually. Triple D Ranch Part 1 on YouTube, and I'll give you a personal tour of the Triple D Ranch.
well, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's a wonderful. When I walk outside the door, the town's right there. I could be the marshal. I could be the undertaker. I could be the bartender. I was everybody.
Well, what character you really like the most? Are you really happy with Wild Bill Hickok?
I am. The reason why, because I didn't pick it. That name I did not pick. When I first came to town, I have to mention, and I say this all the time, is that I've been to a few historical towns throughout the country.
Sounds like you've been to a lot.
Let me tell you, I love them all. You know, it's the whole mystique, it's the whole package. I love them all. However, when I stepped foot in Virginia City for the first time, wow, this was it for me. You know, and I've heard that before of other people. It's just a feeling that I can't convey. You have to actually feel it. And I did. And then from then on, this will be my 8th year, Virginia City is it for me.
Well, you said the tourist actually called you by name. Is that how you created it?
And that's what happened, is that once I was established in Virginia City, the tourism would certainly be at its peak in the spring, summer, and fall. And they would say, "Hey, Wild Bill! Hey, Wild Bill! Wild Bill! Hey!" And I certainly enjoyed that. So what better historical character than Wild Bill Hickok? So that name stuck now for going on 8 years. So I have no problem with that. As a matter of fact, I foster that, and I certainly accept that with pride.
Well, can you show the audience some of your items on your get up here?
Well, the shoulder holster, we have these are all 45 long. You know, we got 2 on the holster. We got 1 up here on the shoulder. These are all 45 long. This one here happens to be a sheriff's model with a 3.5-inch barrel. This here is kind of like a choice of gambler. They always have something on the shoulder, and for the most part, the cowboys would like to wear around the hip. And I happen to have again a couple of 45s down here. And this one happens to be Berettas. These are the first generation Berettas when they bought out Uberti, and they're a match pair. This one here is Ruger, Vaquero.
I like Ruger.
And yeah, this is the choice of reenactors right here, just like butter in your hand. And this here is going to outlive me and my kids. Which unfortunately,
well, you've got to pass on the Ruger. That's the gun for the family.
It is. It's a wonderful piece, and I certainly use this often during the show, and people enjoy. They always want to see it and take a look at it, and I do have a safety demonstration during my show, and everybody is well informed of the guns that I'm using and also the blanks that I use.
Well, we have a Ruger 357 at home, and it's can't be without it. It's a good old family gun.
Yep.
But I was going to say about your show, I really enjoyed it. Are you going to keep the show? What kind of show are you going to work on for this season? Are you going to do something similar? Because one thing I liked about you is you had a young boy, I don't think he even spoke English, and then you had a pretty girl, and you kind of combined them in your skit. And the boy was smiling from ear to ear, and I don't think he, like I said, could speak English, but he was out there on the stage, and you had them you had them so happy, and I have pictures of that, and hopefully we can put some of those in there. But you got the skills.
Well, you know, it's totally interactive. I have without an audience, I really don't have a show. I like the total audience interaction. once I on stage, and then I meet my audience. I talk with them for about 5 minutes, and they get to know me a little bit, and I get to know where everybody's at. But at the same time, what I'm doing, I'm setting up my volunteers. All right, and by me talking to the audience, I generally have an idea of what volunteer is going to work well. And without the volunteer, and without picking the right volunteer, you certainly may not have a show.
Ooh.
Yeah, because the idea is that when you do pick a volunteer, he can't be too willing. In other words, I'm asking him to do things, all right, he's going to do it, but he's going to be very apprehensive.
You want a little stress in there. But your show was about 20 minutes, wasn't it? A little bit longer? Or?
It's about, yeah, you're right, about anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, depends upon how well the volunteer is working out. In other words, we'll have constant laughter if this volunteer does not do what I ask. and that's the show. That's basically the show. So I just love the audience. There's no doubt about it.
We're going to take a short break, and we're going to show you some of Doc Durden's whipping. We haven't even talked about the whipping yet. He have whips behind us, but he does some whipping, and it's very good. Also, we mentioned Marine. We'll be showing some of her outfits, so enjoy, and we'll be back in 3:48. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, we're back from break with Doc Durden. I hope you enjoyed Marines' outfits and your whipping abilities. But I was going to go back to your show. What was your most embarrassing happening at that show? Because you said you kind of check out your volunteers for a while, but you said something about you had a nervous kid one time.
Well, yeah, you're right. And you know what? In the process of screening your audience, and you need to do that, and I do that. I do that well.
You definitely do it well.
I do that well, and I think that I have the pulse of the audience, and so this one volunteer. I'm trying to remember the age of him. I'm putting him right around 9, maybe 10 years old, and brought him up. Got the applause, and I'm trying to build him up a little bit because this, after all, this volunteer is now his audience, and it's nothing without this volunteer. So I explain that, and I tell the audience that no matter what he does and everything, he expects to get paid. And of course, when he gets paid, is the applause that you're going to give him. Well, so trying to build him up and the whole deal. As I'm going through the process of letting them know about the bullwhips and the guns and everything, and I bring him in, then I try to scare him, get him a little apprehensive of what I'm trying to do, but I got to the point where he was physically shaking. And to me, I'm thinking that the applause and the laughter isn't worth the trauma that I'm actually putting this boy through. So the only one time, it only happened this one time, I had to set this boy down and ask for another volunteer because I know that he was getting traumatized. And he just, and it was, and I felt bad about that. I go,
well, you're a very sensitive person. That's the reason I didn't bring it up, but this is a very intimate theater. I mean, you're right on top of the actors.
Yes.
You can't get any closer if you wanted to.
No, yeah.
I had a camera there, and I could even zoom in because I was didn't need to. But what does that little place feel? It's just, I mean, you're right on top of the actors. Maybe 100 at the most, or I don't know, maybe a little bit more.
I'm thinking that it's 150 full capacity.
Okay.
There's hay bales in front.
Okay.
And that's the closest you're going to get to the actors.
Well, yeah, and then you were doing a very good presentation, and I noticed that there's so many languages in that audience.
Yes.
But I was going to tell you, I do Lucky Duck with kids, and from a distance, they're pretty brave. But when I'm doing Lucky Duck at the governor's mansion, I get down on my knees because I'm not so imposing. Mm-hmm. You're a big person. Mm-hmm. So he might have been brave up in the audience and then got too close to you and went, holy heck, and then you got big giant guns. and that's the same thing with me. I had to get down and but you know the vibrations of your audience, and but you're very kind to the guests.
Oh yeah, you have to be.
People were applauding, mm-hmm. Everybody was happy, mm-hmm. and the little kid, and then you do your show for 20 minutes, and then you have some other guys do a show for another 20 minutes?
Actually, yes. It's the Virginia City Gunfighters.
Yeah.
It's their facility, and they are the premier act, the Virginia City Gunfighters, and they do an absolutely wonderful job. It's for the most part, I've seen their show dozens of times, and I enjoy. Each time I watch, I enjoy watching them, and I laugh at the points where you need to laugh, and I'm still laughing at them.
Well, they're a lot of fun, too.
They're a lot of fun.
But you set the table right. You get the whole thing right in the mood, and they have, the good music and all the drama.
Exactly. That's my job. I'm the pre-show to the event, and so my job is to go ahead and get everybody going, and they do, and they're ready for the Virginia City Gunfighters.
Well, we took Mom to the Catholic Church, which is awesome.
Oh, isn't it?
It's one of the oldest church in the state, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was beautiful. And then we went to some of the bars. It was nice. And then we did some of the shops for shopping. And then we did the train ride after the gunfight. That was fun.
What train was it? The steam train, the diesel?
Mm-hmm.
Steam train.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they do a good presentation. You get to go around and see the mines and some of the older antiques and things. And it's just a nice place to go and spend a day or even stay the night.
Yes.
And we were lucky enough to have a parade there, and I think every parade's during the summer. It's at noon every day or something.
Yep. There's only one parade that starts at 11 o'clock, and I think that's the Veterans Parade starts at 11. But every other parade starts at 12 noon. 12 noon.
Well, I was going to ask you, are the Living Legends still happening there? Is there still a lot of recreators there right now? I mean, not now, but in the season?
You know what? The same people are there. When you talk about, say, an organization of the living legends, and certainly Wild Bill Hickok is a living legend, and I was part of that group. When I say was, unfortunately, it's not a group any longer. Everybody's an independent. And the reason for that is that the county came in last July 1st was their first day there. And certainly they enjoyed the Cowboy and being a historical town and everything. There's a need for that. And what he wanted to do is control that a little bit by putting everybody on the payroll. And come to find out is that when you're on the payroll, certainly you can't wear a gun. So all county employees, are subject to certain laws and bylaws, and carrying a gun isn't one of them. So they had to get around that somehow, and the city manager really didn't want to get involved in that. So what he tried to do, it just didn't work out, and so he dropped the Living Legends as an association, and he kind of hired three of us, which is Maureen Hepner and Sharon and I. As special event people.
Okay.
And we did, and last year was a good year for tourism for us, especially on the off season. We didn't have much of a winter last year, and so it helped tourism.
Well, my friend has a jewelry store there, and he made tons. He's right by the parking lot. He sold this place here in Tahoe, and he went straight to Virginia City and never turned around. He never said he's staying there. He's happy.
Yep.
And so I think it's a great place to take. Like I said, my mom's coming back in May, so I'm going to take her back there again, and I'm going to go. My stepdad had a good time. It's just a safe place to take your family.
It is.
And if you come to Tahoe or Reno or even Sacramento, it's an easy trip to get to Virginia City. And it's going to sound silly, but when we left Virginia City, we were just a little bit tired from walking around too much, so we just stopped at the chocolate plate factory just to get our breath. To get our breath.
Yeah.
And boy, that's a hell of a find too. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
But the whole experience from the whole place, there's so many characters. Is Stinky still around?
Yeah, he is. And Stinky's quite a character. He walks around with his donkey.
Okay.
And that's a sight to be seen. And he does that well. He's the only miner in town. Even though Virginia City was certainly built on the backs of the miners, and there was an incredible amount of money that was pulled out of there. But for the most part, as far as tourism, when the tour people come to town, they want to see a cowboy.
Exactly.
And the reason why is because of the Bonanza series. The Bonanza series runs currently all over the world.
Well, yeah.
So we get people from especially Europe. They love our history, and especially the cowboy history and the Pacific Rim. They love the cowboys. And so when they come to town, Australia, I go on and on. But when they come to town, they want to see a cowboy.
Well, there's a lot of cowboys there, and is David Judd and the Comstock Cowboys still play there?
They do.
Is
They
it the
do.
Bucket of Blood still?
Bucket of Blood.
That alone's
absolutely.
worth it. I
Yeah.
try to play them every year because they're one of my favorite people. They're nice people. That's the main thing.
They are.
And if you're on the show, you're a nice person. I don't care. Especially if somebody comes back like that. Well, what are your goals for Virginia City this year? Are you going to be there a lot? Or are you doing other projects? Or?
Well, that conjures up something immediately when you say other projects. Almost 2 years ago, me and Maureen, every Saturday we meet the steam train that comes up, and there's about 120 guests on board, and that kind of fills up that train. But we give them an initiation of pretty much what they're going to see in town. I give them a little bullwhip show and welcome all those guests that are on the steam train. And one Saturday, there was a whole bunch of steampunk. I don't know if our audience know what steampunk is. I'm sure there's a few that do.
Our director knows it.
I was absolutely amazed of the creativity and the costumes that were actually coming off this train. Well, they were going to have a wedding there also, and the wedding was going to be actually on the steam train. Well, steampunk is a cross between the Victorian age and the steam age kind of come together. All right, and everything that goes along with that goes into your costume. And the only thing that stops you is your imagination. Maybe a few dollars, but your imagination. You can get by with very few dollars, and there's a lot of people that really spend a lot of dollars into their costume. So,
Oh yeah, 1,500 to 10,000 easily.
yeah. So we're looking at the creativity, and we're actually amazed. Now, some people absolutely love it. Some people could care less. But the fact is, being a costumer and being creative, and I have a little bit of creativeness, I could see the creativity hit right here. And I enjoyed it. She enjoyed it so much that this year we got involved with that.
Excellent.
We got involved with that. So this is something we do on the off season. Our first parade was in Sparks, so we did a costume, which is kind of good because Maureen does the costuming, and she made a costume for me, which is absolutely fantastic. And the weaponry are Nerf guns.
Oh, can I go as Lucky Duck?
Yeah.
I want to go too.
They're Nerf guns, squirt guns, and you paint them up to look like real guns, and all this creativity. So we went to this. Our first event was a parade in Sparks. There was like 240 entries.
Well, I got to stop you. We're down to about 45 seconds.
Oh.
I want you to give out your contact information.
What's that?
We'll give out your contact information because we have about 40 seconds left.
Well, you can contact me certainly on Facebook at Doc Durden, D-O-C, Durden, D-U-R-D-E-N, and also on YouTube with the same name, or Foothill Productions. And I got several videos there. Matter of fact, my last video is a demo tape that I made for Storm God Studios, which was a couple of months ago, which is kind of cool to see. It's a little short Western that I put together as a demo tape. And also, next couple of weeks, I'll be putting on a how-to on the bullwhip.
Excellent.
This here will be on YouTube on the following week. So and again, under the tag name Doc Durden, and it'll get you right there.
Well, Doc, thank you for being on Nevada Trails.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. Check out Doc Durden on YouTube, and thank you very much, and visit Nevada Trails.
Thank you.